All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Freshman Engineering Seminar here at Marshall University. My name is Dr. Michelson. I'm going to be your instructor this semester. So I guess, before we get started into the housekeeping and organization of the course, I guess some order of congratulations are in order since you have successfully negotiated your first week as a college student. So congratulations to everybody in here. Now, it's all downhill from here, so I'm kidding. The real purpose of this class is for you to hear from practicing engineers in the various disciplines of engineering and to hear from them what it's like to be a practicing engineer and for them to give you some advice and some insight into the discipline. But it's also an opportunity for you all to get to know some of the professors that you're going to have over the next few years while you're pursuing an engineering degree at Marshall. So since it's my class and it's day one, I figure I'll start with me. So like I said, my name's Dr. Michelson. I've been here at Marshall since 2014. So this year is going to be my 5th year here at Marshall. Yes, I did go to that school up north. I graduated with my PhD from WVU in 2014. I'm a licensed professional engineer. I'm registered to practice here in West Virginia. And as I'm sure you all are aware, we have different degrees in mechanical and electrical and what have you. I myself am a civil engineer, so for those of you who are civil engineering students, you're going to get to know me pretty well over the next few years here at Marshall. And civil engineering, as you'll find, is a really, really broad area, and so you'll have people focus in environmental engineering and transportation engineering. Myself, I'm a structural engineer, so I focus on things like steel design and bridge engineering and things like that. So that's sort of my passion. So if you're interested in bridges, I could talk about that all day long. My office is on the 2nd floor of the new engineering building. So I've got here sort of a floor plan of the new engineering building. I have a feeling just about everybody's been in the building at this point. So this is the main atrium. So like here's where the elevators are. So this is the 2nd floor. A couple offices worth mentioning. So this is the division suite. If you're ever needing to add or drop classes or maybe even need to do like major changes or things like that, you tend to want to go either here or here. I think many of you had interacted with Associate Dean Hanrahan at some point. Her office, she used to be in this location here. So between these two, if you need any administrative help, that's where you're going to want to go. My office is the last one on the left. There's a long line of offices on the 2nd floor, and I'm the last one on the left right before the big materials lab. So I'm pretty easy to find. So if you ever need to find me, that's where I'm at. In terms of teaching, I started compiling this list, and it really sort of shocked me. I've taught a lot of courses since I've been here at Marshall. The red courses are what I'm teaching now, so a lot of general engineering classes, a lot of civil classes. I'm also teaching deformables, which is a sort of a civil mechanical class. So if you're a mechanical or whatnot, you might have me 1 or 2 more times, but you electricals, this might be it. So. A little bit about my research, and I don't want to go too much into this because we have some housekeeping to discuss today. But my research activities are, not surprisingly focused on steel bridges. And in a nutshell, what I try and do is develop bridge systems that are modular, accelerated, and economical for highway design. I tend to focus on short span bridges. There's about 600,000 bridges in the United States, and if you start thinking about how long the average bridge is, you're not talking about Golden Gates or New River Gorges. The average bridge length in this country is only about 50 or 60 feet. So short span bridges are where a lot of the industry focuses on, and so that's what I do. And so one particular project that I worked on is the development of a cold bent steel tub girder. You can see here on the top left, this was an installation in Muskingum County, Ohio, where we took the girder that we designed and employed it in a real project. This entire bridge system, if you were to take a ruler and measure it, is only about 14 inches deep. So it's incredibly shallow superstructure, and it's really accelerated as well. I'll also go out and do field testing of bridges. I'll go out and do monitoring with high precision, things like LVDTs and strain indicators and whatnot, and do field tests of bridges, and then try and compare that against analytical models to sort of improve the design process. And in a nutshell, that's really sort of what I do, in my research. And a couple other things, and I won't belabor a lot of this, but I'm a pretty active guy here on campus as well. You're going to hear from a couple student organizations here on campus. I'm the advisor for 2 of them. So if you ever are interested in any of these activities, you can either contact the students or me. I'm a pretty accessible guy. Let's talk about the class. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. So like I said, this course is really intended to provide you an overview of the engineering profession and engineering here at Marshall. So like I said, we're going to have weekly speakers come in and talk about the profession and give you some advice and some insight into the field. But at the same time, we're also going to cover some housekeeping items related to your degree. So for instance, in week 11, we're going to have an advanced registration session in here where I teach you all, specifically how to register for classes, what you should be taking next semester, and so on and so forth, and talk about some of those logistical issues, and also talking about some resources here at Marshall, like career services and what have you. So just to give you kind of an idea of what we're going to be talking about. Now, this is a college class, so we do have to have some way of grading you in this course. So because this is a seminar class and because it's pretty basic, the grading system for this course is pretty basic as well. There are 3 real components that go into the grade. Okay, the first is attendance. Okay, and I'll talk specifically about attendance, how we're going to do that here in a second. But I want to point you to this. I've taught this class a couple times before, and so I started pulling the data and I started looking at how do absences affect your final grade. And so what you've got here on the x-axis, this is the total number of absences in the class. I took all the students that had 1 absence and all the students that had 2 absences and 3 absences, and then I averaged their grades and I started plotting it. And so what happens is the more classes you miss, the more your grade goes down, okay? So I'm telling you, if you come to class on time and pay attention, and that, along with having a pulse and a respiratory pattern, you can do pretty good in this class. This is not intended to be an academically rigorous class. I've got some senior engineering students up here. They will tell you this is, by and large, the easiest engineering course that you will have, period. We are going to have some weekly quizzes that I'm going to conduct via Blackboard, and there's also going to be a final exam, but that's most likely going to be online as well, since the class is pretty large. So let's talk about attendance. Now, we might change up a little bit how we do attendance. In previous times that I've taught this course, this room was empty right before the class, but that hasn't really been the case today. There was a class right before here, so logistically how we do that, we might play that by ear. But the mechanism that we're going to do it is this. So on the back table, we'll probably still, on the back table, I'm going to have some sign-up sheets that look like this. Now, first off, they're all going to be the same. So there's going to be like 8 or 9, maybe 10 sheets on the back table, and they're all going to be exactly alike. So you don't need to fill out all of them. You just need to find any one of them. And you're going to see your name listed next to your user ID. You just find your name and put your initials down. It's that simple. Okay, so you don't need to fill out all of them. Just find one of them and put your initials down. It's that simple. Okay, and the big thing is just to make sure and fill this out. Now, usually I say that being late counts as half an absence, but first off, it's day 1. Y'all didn't even know I was going to do this anyway, so I'm certainly not going to count anybody late today. And second, based on logistics, we might have people sign the attendance sheet on their way out as opposed to coming in, so we'll just sort of play it by ear. Now, I'll say this, I'm a pretty easy guy to get along with in terms of if you miss a day, and I completely understand, maybe you're sick, maybe you got a job interview, maybe you're getting married, you're having an organ transplant, whatever reason that you have for missing class. I'm usually a pretty easy guy to get along with. But there are like 100 people in this class, so if you do miss class and you have, like some reason, documented reason that you're going to miss class, let me know. Just send me an email. Please put Engineering 103 in the subject line. I'm teaching a lot of courses this semester, and I don't want to miss it. If I go to my Outlook and just search Engineering 103, I'm going to find find any emails, and that's how I'll know. So just make sure and let me know about that. Now, one thing, and I do want to deal with one little bit of unpleasantness before we move on, and I could totally understand this scenario. It's Thursday night, and you're studying late all night, or you're, having a good time. Maybe it's you stayed up all night playing Fortnite or something, or PUBG, and you go, and it's Friday, and you're like, I don't want to go to seminar. Hey, Cody, can you just sign in for me? I'm not going to be there. And I could see that scenario happen, and B, I have seen that scenario happen. I've seen friends just sort of sign in for each other, okay? Well, just so you're aware, what we're going to do is we're going to, do a head count. We're going to count, the number of heads in the class and see if that matches the number of signatures on the sign-in sheet. And if that doesn't match, well, how many of you all got your picture taken when you got your student ID? Guess what? We have all your pictures, so we'll be able to track who does that. So please just, if you're going to miss class, that's fine. I would rather you just accept the absence than try and fake that. Just don't do that, okay? So because we will find out. My friend Patrick, stand up. This is Patrick Quinlan. He's one of our lab techs in the engineering program. You civil students are you're going to get to know him very well when you take some of your lab courses here, and he's going to be watching the attendance sheets like a hawk. So I mean, if you're going to miss class, that's fine. Just take it on the chin and move on. Okay, let's talk about the other components to the grade, which are the quizzes and the final exam. So typically what's going to happen is this. So we're in week 1. We're having our first lecture. You're going to be hearing some things here about the class, from some of our student organizations. And so to see whether or not you all are paying attention, I'm going to come up with some multiple choice questions, probably like 10 questions. Some weeks it may be 8, some weeks it may be 9, what have you, but play around with that. And what I'll do is I'll come up with some questions, and I'll have a quiz assigned on Blackboard. Okay, now typically what I'll do is this. So it'll take me a little time today to make the quiz. I'll probably get the quiz completed sometime this afternoon. I'll send you all an email when it's ready. And then the quiz will close on next Friday at 11 a.m. Okay, so you all will have plenty of time to do this quiz. And this quiz is only going to take you like 5 or 10 minutes to complete. It's not that long. I don't time the quiz. You can stop and start it whenever you want. So just so you're aware of that. There is going to be a final exam in this class. It's going to be taken during the last class meeting, and it's going to be taken online, so you can sort of do it whenever. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. So speaking of quizzes, again, there is going to be a quiz posted after this lecture. Has everybody in here at least been to Blackboard at some point, or MU Online throughout this first week? If you haven't, it's marshall.edu/MUonline. You can Google it, and it's going to be like the first link that you find if you Google Marshall University Blackboard. It's going to be due August 31st at 11 a.m. Again, multiple choice. You can stop and start it whenever you want, what have you. Okay, so if you log into Blackboard, you can go to the course, click Course Content over there on the right, and that's where you're going to find all of the quizzes and all of the materials associated with the course. Speaking of materials associated with the course, so more often than not, a couple things are going to happen. So first off, I'm going to post a PDF of this PowerPoint and all of the PowerPoints from all of our speakers each week on Blackboard, so that you all will have that material available. Another thing that's happening is a recording. So some of you up front can probably see this. I've got this sort of lapel mic here. This lapel mic is recording my voice, and I'm recording everything on the screen right now. What's going to happen is all of this recording is going to get uploaded in a single video to YouTube. And that's going to happen each week. I've got a link on Blackboard for a YouTube playlist, so all the videos will be in one single link. So you can go, if you forget what somebody said about their company and there's a multiple choice question on it, go back to the video and it's right there. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that you were paying attention, and again, as I said, pulses and respiratory patterns. Now, if you miss class, you're still responsible for the quiz, okay, because you can still go back to the video and you have all the notes. So just because you miss class doesn't mean that you can't take the quiz, because all of that material is available. You can take notes on the presentations if you want, but I've got a good feeling that between the recordings and having all the slides, you shouldn't terribly need to. But I mean, that's, of course, if you'd like to. I'm not going to go against that. Are there any questions about the course operation? Any questions about, you know, Marshall engineering life? That was a joke, not a very funny one. I have here a schedule of the speakers that we're going to have this semester. One other thing that I should mention in regards to the syllabus. So as you all leave, there are hard copies of the syllabus that are going to be in the back. I highly advise, obviously you take one before you leave. There's also a copy of the syllabus on Blackboard as well, and it contains all the information that I've just discussed. I have here our schedule for the semester. So obviously today I'm doing the faculty introduction, and our first speaker is going to be a series of engineering student organizations on campus. They're going to talk about their activities and talk about what they're going to be doing throughout the coming year, and hopefully getting you all involved. But typically the pattern is that each week I will have a faculty come in and introduce themselves for a 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll have a main speaker. There are a couple weeks that are a little unique. For instance, in week 10, I'm actually going to have some professors from different majors here at Marshall, in case some of you all are thinking about other degree programs that'll give you an opportunity to learn more about what we offer here at Marshall. And then in week 11, I'm going to have an advanced registration session where I show you all how to register for classes, generally what you should be taking next semester, and giving you all some advice moving forward through your degree program. But other than that, the schedule is pretty straightforward. I've got speakers lined up for every week. Some of them are going to be applicable to everybody. For instance, I have the State Licensing Board for Professional Engineers coming in on week 9 to talk about how to become a licensed engineer, which every single person in this room should be considering that a significant career goal. I have one slot I have yet to find a speaker for. With a lot of the booming economy that we've been dealing with, a lot of these engineers are very, very busy. So a lot of the folks that I usually have come in and speak, their schedules have been booked. So I'm going to try and get a speaker in for November 30th. But other than that, our schedule is pretty locked in. So sound good? All right, any questions? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start turning it over to some of our student organizations here within the engineering program. They're going to talk to you a little bit about their activities and what it is they do. And we're going to start, I'm sort of going in in order of seniority. So I'm going to start with the organization that's been here the longest, which is the Joint Society of American Military Engineers and the American Society of Civil Engineers, and their president, Natasha Napper, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about their activities. So first off, let's give her a round of applause.
Feel very official. I have the mic. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Natasha Napper. I'm a senior here at Marshall in the Civil Engineering program. I've had the pleasure of having Dr. Mike every single year, most often every single day, for 4 years. It's been a great time. So what is SAME? As Dr. Michelson mentioned, we're a joint chapter here at Marshall, which makes us very unique. So we're the Society of American Military Engineers, which is an organization for military engineering professionals. But note, anybody can join regardless of your profession, and it's free for students. But also, we're ASCE, the American Society of Civil Engineers. It's a professional body founded to represent members of the civil engineering profession basically all over the world. We're not just in America. There are several chapters worldwide. You have to be pursuing a degree in civil engineering. So this is where our chapter is a little bit unique in the fact that you can be a civil major, you can be an electrical major. Our previous president, she was an electrical engineering major. We've had mechanical students. Basically, if you're an engineering major, you're cool with us because we're a joint chapter. It's also free to students. Benefits of joining. So professional networking opportunities. I myself am a student at the Corps of Engineers. Megan is also a student at the Corps, and various other people you'll see at this table have had internships or jobs that result from being a member of our chapter. Professional development, we've had resume workshops. We often partner with other student organizations to do professional development activities. We host a Richard F. McCormick Technical Conference, which I'll mention later, that is also a big professional development event for you guys. Community service. We occasionally partner, like I said, with other student organizations to go out and volunteer. Education. I've met lifelong friends in this chapter. We study together. We get through classes together. Several of them were older than me, and I would go to them for advice. What class to take? Who should I take? Those kind of things. Leadership opportunities. When I was a freshman, I sat in the back row back there and never thought that I would be in charge of this organization, really, at all. And fun and friendships. Like I said, lifelong friends. Annual activities. The Winter Technical Conference, or the Richard F. McCormick Technical Conference, is something that we host every January. As students, you'll have the opportunity to go. Most of your engineering classes will cancel and require you to go. But it's a great opportunity, and honestly, I'm so glad that we're able to host it here at Marshall. The ASCE Virginia's Conference is another big event we do. It includes the concrete canoe competition and the steel bridge competition. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Engineering Career Day, high school sophomores come in, we talk to them a little bit. SAME, ASCE Homecoming Tailgate. We have a great time. We partner with Theta Tau. Everybody goes out in the grass between the labs and the parking lot. It's a good time. We do many other activities as well, but those are the main ones. Okay, so concrete canoe. Do you guys really think that that's actual concrete, or you think I'm joking? No, it really floats, I promise. I don't know if I have a picture in there, but it really does. This was the display that we had to present. These are concrete cylinders and the concrete materials. You'll learn about some of that stuff in your materials classes later if you're civil. Steel bridge competition. We built a bridge that you see here, and they actually load test it in real time until failure. And then here was another group photo at the Virginia's conference this past year. Richard F. McCormick Technical Conference. As you can see, we have speakers going on. This is in the bottom of the Student Center. Like I said, we host it every January, and approximately 125 to 150 professional engineers attend. And on the center of each table, there's a resume booklet for students. This is where you could get a job. We know several people that have gotten jobs this way. All right, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to either come find me. I'm typically in the lobby of the engineering building because I live there now, basically, but it's fine. You guys can email me. We have a website. We still need to update it a little bit, but it's pretty up to date. We have a Facebook, a Twitter, and an Instagram, so MUSAME. You guys should be able to find us. Like I said, if you have any questions, contact me or Dr. Michelson. He knows how to get a hold of me. Thanks, guys.
Any questions for Natasha? When's your next meeting?
Monday at 6.
Where?
In room 1205 in the engineering building.
All right. If you're interested, come check it out.
I think everybody got an email. You'll have to actually pay attention to the emails you get from Lee. They're not just spam. Please read them.
All right. Okay.
So this is next slide. This is back. That's the laser pointer, I think.
They gave me a laser. Okay.
All right, so next up, we have Theta Tau and their Region Taylor Legg.
Hi, guys. Is this working? Okay. Hi, guys. So this is Theta Tau. This is the engineering fraternity on campus. We are actually the only engineering fraternity with a chapter in West Virginia, so this is a great opportunity for you that other schools do not offer. So we have over 40,000 initiated across the nation. We are a professional co-ed organization. It's open to both boys and girls. I know fraternity usually means just boys. We are the oldest and largest engineering fraternity, so it's well known actually across the nation. A lot of people respect it. We were created or formed in 1904 at the University of Minnesota. Our goals are to promote the social and professional development of its members during and after their college years. And those are the founders in the right. Bunch of old guys. So our chapter is called Chi Delta. We were founded August 22nd, 2015, relatively new. Actually, the last founders have just graduated, so we're a very new chapter. We are the first and only chapter in West Virginia. So you can see there at the fountain and when we became a chapter. So our community service goals for this semester are to work with Habitat for Humanity. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about them, but they help build and fix homes for the needy. There's actually an office here in Huntington. You do not have to be a part of our chapter to come help. We are doing a food and clothing drive, a toy drive for the hospital, and a community baby shower for mothers and parents in need. And sorry about the typo, that's supposed to say SIGEP, not SIPEP. Please don't call them that. So they usually put on a haunted house for big brothers, big sisters, They're also an organization in Huntington that helps needy kids. So professional development, this is probably the biggest component of our organization. You will study in your classes, but whenever you get out in the real world, you'll have to be well-rounded. You'll have to learn how to behave professionally and create a network. So we are doing a resume building workshop, a co-op/internship workshop. One thing that we want to work on is to help you guys get to know what opportunities you have while you're still in school. You will need to get internships. That's huge on your resume and helps you get great jobs, and honestly, even a salary boost potentially. We are doing a golf outing. You don't have to know golf. I don't know golf. Can't play to save my life. We have a couple people who can and are going to help teach us. We are looking to get a tour of Alcon. It's a big industry that they work in, and they're local. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard of them, but we're setting up a tour with them. Our brotherhood events. So the main goals that you hear from fraternities, not just us, but the rest on campus, is they want you to form a network in this brotherhood bond with everyone that is in that organization. So we do this by creating events to help you get to know people. This is a great way for you to get to know people in your class. So you form all this group of friends that you study with, you go out to eat with, and it makes college so much easier. It really does. So we're doing this engineering informal. You are never required to come to social events. That's what separates us from a social fraternity. That's not our goal. We want to do fun events, but you're never required to come to those. We have bowling. We do games at the rec. Most of us are not athletic. You don't have to be athletic to come. Okay, we're engineering majors. We're nerds. So we're doing pumpkin carving at the Canova House. They do something like around 3,000 jack-o'-lanterns. This is something new we're doing. And like Natasha said, we do tailgates. Once again, you're not required to come to those, but even if you don't like football, come to the tailgates. We do video game nights. Like I said, we're nerds. Okay, I love video games. It's great to come to it. Why join Theta Tau? Professional organizations boost your resumes. People want to know that you're well-rounded and that you're in more than just hard classes. You're in engineering. All of you are going to be in hard classes, okay? Most of you, hopefully, are going to have good GPAs. So something's got to set you apart. What are you involved in? Do you help with your community? Why do they want you in their company? So you make connections, lifetime membership, even after you graduate. All of their events and stuff are still open to you as alumni. National and regional meetings. The regional meeting, this isn't good, but the regional meeting is actually in Detroit this year, but Nationals was in San Diego. If you want to go, we can help send you there. These are great conventions to go to. They help teach you about professionalism once again, and you get to see other areas, and it's at a discounted price. So there are national awards, and I didn't put this, but there's a scholarship available that you can apply to if you join. Leadership training and professional development, and there's volunteer opportunities. We are trying to set up an event over spring break to go to Florida for Habitat for Humanity and help build houses there for places that have been kind of torn down, hurt by the weather. You know, natural disasters happen, and Theta Tau wants to help. So our rush event schedule, it was sent out in an email. The email kind of wasn't cleaned up when it was sent out, so hopefully all of you got it. Tuesday, we're doing the Meet the Members cookout. We'll have cornhole, music, food. Just because you come doesn't mean you join. So it's free to you. Might as well come out and get some free food. Thursday, capture the flag. Once again, not athletic. You don't have to be athletic to come. It's just something fun that they do during WOW week, so we thought we'd try it. Monday is game night. You can bring any of your own games. Wednesday, we do volleyball. So most people don't know what volleyball is, but we love it. We rent out a racquetball room, set up a net, so it's a really confined space, and you can, it's like volleyball, but you can play off the walls. Once again, you don't have to be athletic. We laugh at each other a lot, so come out. Friday, invitation-only dinner. Unless you're a jerk, you're invited. So I'm going to be honest, just don't be a jerk, you're invited. Note that Capture the Flag is a glow-in-the-dark event. So it starts at 7:30, not at 6:45. I'm going to feel really bad if you come at 6:45, so please note that. Contact information, feel free at any time to email, call, text me. My schedule's kind of crazy. I have a lot of evening classes, but I will answer, okay? It might take me an hour or so, but I'll answer. Does anybody have any questions? Anything at all? I know you're freshmen, you don't want to ask me questions. If you want to ask me later, that's fine. You have my information. Or ask Dr. Mike. He knows a lot about theta tau. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you might need this.
Might need the mic, yeah.
I don't want that.
Am I going to be able to load it up? All right. Next up, I'm just going to turn it over to Cody, who's the president of the Marshall's American Society of Mechanical Engineers. He's going to talk about their activities. So.
All right, good afternoon. All right, good afternoon. I'm Cody Harrison. I'm the president of Marshall's ASME chapter. How many mechanical engineers do we actually have in the room right now? All right, pretty good number. So about ASME, they were founded in the 1800s in North America, and currently there's over 100,000 members all over the world. And ASME is an engineering society. They also set standards for the mechanical engineering industry, and they do a lot of research and development, and they are a nonprofit organization. So ASME holds a lot of student competitions. One of the big ones is that human-powered car over there. So it's a challenge for students to develop a car that's human-powered, but it can be used in everyday life. So I think they have challenges like, can you carry groceries or something with this car? They also do student design competitions. I believe that robot over there is a student design competition. And they have an old guard competition, which really isn't like you build anything. It's how well can you write a report and present it in a professional manner. So our chapter is relatively new, and we're still trying to get started. But for this semester, we're trying to get some projects rolling. So we're going to try to assist in the Baja car and possibly some other robotic designs. And with the Baja car, it's led by seniors. We're going to assist them with either fundraising or getting in the lab and actually being able to weld this car together and see how things work and getting some hands-on experience. So why should you join ASME? So for freshmen, for students, it is free to join for your freshman year. After that, it's $25 a year, and that's relatively cheap to be able to put this on your resume and look really good out there. And so you also get to meet fellow mechanical engineering majors, and you can learn from them. You get to see how things are worked out in the lab. You also can develop that network and be able to see, hey, what classes do I need to take? And you also have someone to go talk to if you need help during your classes. So my contact information is right here. If you have any questions, feel free to text me or email me, or I'll be down here for a little bit after class. You can come down here and talk to me. So on the robotics, I would say it would probably be something like kind of small. Have you ever watched the robotic competitions on TV, like where they fight at each other and stuff? Yeah, so that's probably be something that we try to look into. I think there's a collegiate competition for a BattleBot type thing, so we try to develop something like that. Or we're also open to any other ideas for any type of projects or robotics at all. I think you actually do.
Any questions? Any other questions for Cody? I have one. When's your first meeting?
All right, so we're going to try to have our first meeting next Wednesday at noon. We're going to try to have it in the middle of the day so everyone's hopefully on campus around that time. We're going to have it in the engineering labs building in room 101. So that's not the new engineering building, but that's the old engineering building.
The one closer to where Firehouse and
Yep.
Pizza Hut is. Any questions? All right, so let's give Cody a round of applause. All right. Last but certainly not least, dun dun dun. All right. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so
That's what I shot at people.
that one right there, as in left and right. Okay. Last up, we have IEEE, and we have Brad Gilkison, who's the president of that organization. He's going to tell you a little bit about what they do. So let's hear it for Brad.
Okay, so I'm Brad Gilkison. I'm the president of the Marshall University chapter of the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers. This is Noah. He's our vice president. And he's passing around a sign-up sheet for you to put your name and email address on. There's some basic questions on there about your major and your year. If you're interested in receiving emails from us about meeting times, events, updates to our schedule, sign that sheet and we'll add you to our email list. Let's see. Okay, so if you've never heard of IEEE before, it's one of the world's largest professional organizations, mostly dedicated to electrical engineers. Over 400,000 members in over 160 countries, over 100,000 student members, and almost 1,500 student branches. And we're proud to say that Marshall University has one of the newest branches. We just got officially recognized as a branch last semester. We only have about 20 members, and we're open to all majors: electrical, mechanical, civil, computer science, non-engineering. We'll take anybody. And it's free to join. You don't have to pay to participate in any of our activities, come to our meetings. There is, if you want to sign up for the official IEEE newsletter to get magazines in the mail, to have access to their publications, and to have your name listed in the National Register, you can sign up for a real IEEE membership. It's like $50 a year, but it's not required at all. I think only like half of us actually sign up for it. So there's 10 IEEE regions. We're in the United States. We're in Region 2. Oh, I get to use the laser. Right there. So when we compete in competitions, we compete against schools in Region 2, which is Pittsburgh, Ohio, and West Virginia. So our meetings are every other Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. in the Industrial Controls Lab, which is room 2303 on the second floor of the engineering building. The next meeting is this coming Tuesday, August 28th. We're going to have free pizza, drinks, non-alcoholic, like soda and stuff, games, and we'll just hang out. There's not going to be any academic stuff. It's just going to be to meet the members, introduce yourself if you're new, and talk about what we're going to do during the semester. So what we usually do during meetings, sometimes we have pizza, game nights. Our next meeting after this, we're going to do, I think we're going to have a guest speaker. So last year we had 2 guest speakers come from the national IEEE division and talk to us about like resumes, professional organizations, gave us tips. We have local guest speakers. Last year we had an electrical engineer from Toyota. She came and talked about her job, what she does, answered our questions. It's really good to have her contact information to email her and ask about internships and stuff like that. Industry tours. Last year we took a tour of Eagle Research in West Virginia, which is an electronics company that manufactures sensors for gas pipelines. So we took a tour of their production facility and watched them actually manufacture circuit boards, which is really cool. We plan on going bowling, tailgating, learning labs. Every once in a while we'll have like an Arduino lab where we'll all play with Arduinos. Last year we had a soldering lab where one of our engineering technicians came in and taught us how to do through-hole soldering, surface mount soldering, soldering wires, desoldering, a lot of really advanced soldering techniques if you've never soldered before. It was really cool. Student activities conference projects, I'll talk about that in a second. And we plan on doing a breadboard fabrication where we'll design and manufacture our own custom breadboards. And fundraisers, we have t-shirt sales, which you'll get an email about later. And we're definitely open to ideas. We welcome new ideas. So the Student Activities Conference is going to be at West Virginia University April 5th, April 7th this year. Last year it was in Pittsburgh. I think about 8 of us went, and these are the competitions you can compete in. The main ones that we like to do are the Brown Bag, the Micromouse Maze, the Project Showcase, and the Sumo Robot. So the Micro Maze, they supply a maze, and you build a robot from scratch to autonomously navigate the maze, so no remote control. It has to do it all by itself using the sensors on the board. And you compete with all the other schools in Region 2 to see who can complete the maze the fastest. And last year we actually built our own maze. So this maze is over in the engineering building right now. This is the maze that we're going to practice with this year. So we'll build the robot, we'll take it to the lab, we'll put it in the maze, we'll time ourselves. So during our meetings, we'll probably be either working on the robot or taking it to the maze to do practice runs. The sumo competition is similar. You make your own robot, and you compete with a different school to push it outside of the white circle. So we didn't do this last year, but we're going to build we're going to build a board for it, and we're going to buy the robot kits, and we'll do that this year too. The brown bag circuit competition, they give you literally a brown bag full of random circuit components, and you have to put those components together to make a circuit to accomplish the task that they give you. So new ideas for this year. I'm actually in talks with Dr. Salem right now to give us our own open lab. So all members of IEEE will be able to come and go in the lab whenever they want. We're going to have lab equipment set up for you to work on your personal projects, projects for school, projects for the activities conference. We're going to do the printed circuit board manufacturing this year, where we'll make our own prototype board in-house, but also we're going to send the design off to a professional manufacturer who's going to make the board and send it back, and we'll have a real silk screen, like a green printed circuit board that everybody thinks of when they hear printed circuit board. We have a lot of cool freebies, like stickers and pins and notebooks and stuff. If you come to our meetings, I'll give you some. And we talked about this year, this is going to be new, doing tutoring sessions for some of the freshman and sophomore level electrical engineering classes, like Programming Lab, Circuits 1, Circuits 2, where the juniors and seniors who have already had the class and who have the old tests will do review sessions for the test to answer questions, go over example problems, if you're struggling in the class or if you just want to do a little bit better. And we're definitely open to new ideas. We kind of running out of ideas. So anything that you have, we'll take it. There's the time and my email address if anybody has any questions. Any questions?
Any questions?
Sign the sign-in sheet, please, if you want emails.
All right, first off, a couple of things. First off, let's give Brad a round of applause. Things before we close out. First off, we don't have tests or exams in college. We have celebrations of learning. Do you like that? Yeah. The civil students are getting tired of hearing that. A couple things. All right, a couple things before we close out the class today. So number one, we've got attendance sign-in sheets on either end of the tables here behind the seats. Make sure that you sign in, or I'm not going to know that you were here today. So again, before everybody gets up and leaves, just make sure, find your name, put your initials next to it. That's all I need. Before you leave. All right, what do we have due Friday at 11? Quiz. I will get to making that quiz today. It's due Friday at 11. It will close on Blackboard, so if you don't do it, it won't get done. Y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.